What is up, everyone? Volathis here, and I'm going to be talking about Live Letter 50 from the Tokyo Fan Fest, and I'm going to be using an article from Nova Crystallis, so don't forget to check it out. Link will be in the description, as well as a webpage from the Lodestone regarding to the Final Fantasy 15 collaboration. So, with the patch schedule we have here, as long as I get this video up on time, patch 4.56, A Requiem for Heroes Part 2 is going to release tomorrow, March 26th, and that's going to include new main scenario quests and even further Hildebrand adventures and the finale of the Beast Tribe quest. On April 2nd is going to include the Data Center expansion for Europe, which will add the Data Center of Light. And then on April 16th will be a Nocturne for Heroes, the Final Fantasy 15 and 14 collaboration. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about that. So it's going to reward us some hairstyles, equipment, and the 4-person mount regalia, as we've discussed further. We do have a time frame for this. It is going to be a limited time event here, but no reason to worry. It's from April 16th to May 27th. So, and to start the quest, it is going to be called the Man in Black, and you need to have your character level 50 and complete the Ultimate Weapon quest, which would be involving defeating Ultima Weapon. And on the Lodestone, they just show in greater detail those items and where at to start the quest. I believe it's I can't pronounce that name, but I'm going to try Kippa Jakya, and it's a new doll. And then the other dates we have here are on April 23rd will be the Data Center expansion for North America, which will add the Crystal Data Center, as well as this is also going to implement the World Visit System, which allows you to travel to other worlds that are in your data center. They are expecting glitches, and make sure you report them. And in mid-May will be patch 4.56. They're going to be making just some various adjustments and updates. No new content or anything like that, just adjustments to the game. And June 28th will be the early access for the Shadowbringers expansion for those that pre-order. And of course, you do have to pre-order to participate in this. And on July 2nd will be the official launch date of Shadowbringers. I don't have a date on the benchmark here, but it says that it will allow you to customize Viera and Hrothgar characters. So if you're thinking about getting a Fantasia for that, or if you have a Fantasia potion already and have been considering, you can play around with some ideas and see if maybe you want to change to a Viera or Hrothgar, or maybe some other race you just haven't tried yet. And they had a special guest, Barnry Oda, who is the world lore creator as well as the scenario team lead. And with this position, a lot of what it is making sure, creating the world's lore as well as making sure that all the lore matches up, including in like the quest texts and all that. And as the scenario lead, help coming up with story ideas for the game. And a little bit of what inspires his writings. He reads a lot of books, documentaries, as well as National Geographic. And with books, the type of books would be like fantasy and history. And one of the books that was recommended was Thomas Bulfinch's Legends of Charlnage, which a lot of weapon names have come from. And they want to know what character or the story left a big impression for him. And Oda doesn't want to play any favoritism to a character, but for scenes that left a big impression was the one with, in the main scenario, where we play as Alphinaud. And another thing was part of the Beast Tribe with the Namazu, where they split the screen into 4s. And part of that is with the side story, they're giving a little bit more freedom to test new ideas. And if those new ideas do well, it can be something that can be applied into the main scenario in the future And as an example, they mentioned something maybe to do with Monshong. And another question here would be, how bad would it be if the Asians revive Zodiark? And for this, it really just depends on perspective. And just saying that, for some this can be good, for others this can be bad. The expansion, may answer some of those questions, and used as an example, what the Guardians are doing they believe is right, and they're doing good. So it's just a matter of perspective for that. And it was brought up with Louis Swa transporting us, 5 years into the future. Why 5 years? The answer to that is just saying that he was trying to use a spell that would send the Warrior Light somewhere safe. So in perspective, I guess the side effect was sending us 5 years into the future. And then talked about, did they already know about Eureka when it was planned from the start? And they said that they introduced the idea of Isle of Vale and Heavensward, and when Eureka was decided, they just ran with it. That's all. How they also decided that part of the 5-point story involving the Crystal Tower. And how far along are they with the Shadowbringer story? Said about 80 to 90% done. There are some side quests that need some work. A lot of the voice act scenes are already taken care of. They're up to the last chapter of the main scenario already. And in Heavensward, Estinian talks about his blood being half dragon. The actual correction on this is actually he does not have dragon blood, but rather he has the aether that he absorbed from Nidhogg's eye. They also talked about how an NPC's birthday is decided, and for that it really depends on the writer, saying that some writers are very detailed in a character's background. They will always have the age but not the birthday. And part of his job is checking lore consistency in different games. But they mentioned that with like Dissidia, Final Fantasy, Opera, Omna, they could tell the person liked 14 a lot. And a lot of the collaborations have happened recently. And also talked about what does a young Rogadin look like. And Oda wants to know too, but they can't really put the resources to it because of the development being too high. They asked, apparently, Yoshida said that Ara rubbed their horns together to display affection, and they want to know if that's true. It's one of those things Yoshida said on the spot, and he went to Oda, and Oda said it was okay, so that is considered, I guess you could say, canon. Wanted to know about the lettering on the Monk and Scholar Omega gear. Is it from their home planet? And just saying it could be language they learned from their travels, but it could also be a lot of different things, so not really an answer on that. They couldn't explain the duty finder, and also where does the chocobo go when it's called and dismiss. And wanted to know why the Warrior Light cannot get into the new world, saying that it's not easy to access. It's actually quite hard to get to. Maybe one day there will be an easier way so that the Warrior of Light can get to the new world. And Yoshida says he wants players together someday, so probably something in the future. And wants to know, the last question here we have here is, why didn't the Eorzeans lose the battle at the Gimlet of the Guardians outnumbered? And while Guardians have Magitech, but Eorzeans have a realm that allows them to use very powerful magic. For the last part, they had some announcements. So for one thing, they wanted to remind about pre-ordering Shadowbringers to get the Gremlin minion and the Aetheryte earrings. There's going to be a new CD called Journeys Final Fantasy XIV, and it's going to include piano and piano arrangements on it, and that's going to release June 19th this year worldwide. And Xenos E.A. Galvis is going to be added to Dissidia Final Fantasy. He will be added to the arcade version on March 26th, and then added later to the NT version, which is the PS4 and Steam version, on April 11th. And then Dad of Light, which is based off of the Netflix series Dad of Light, is going to be made into a feature film movie, and production for that is underway and will release on June 21st this year. So this was a pretty short live letter. A lot of this is, just telling us the schedule, and right now we're going to be waiting on a lot of these things. Tomorrow, of course, is the big day for patch 4.56, which will be the last bit of the story, and then probably, I'm guessing, either late April or May, we'll be talking more and more about the expansion up until its release. So let me know in the comments down below what is your favorite part about this live letter. I recently added NT to my computer. I even got it for the PS4, and I think it's great that Xenos is going to be added to it. And I'm also looking forward to the the Final Fantasy 15 collaboration coming up in May, but obviously patch 4.56 is right around the corner. I'm going to be spending time, so definitely a few things to hold me over till the expansion. And if you enjoyed this video, hit the like button as well as share this video. Subscribe to the channel to stay updated for more Final Fantasy 14 related videos, as well as some single player content. It has been a pleasure. I'll see you next time. Goodbye.